What is up, Watch fam? Happy Tuesday, and welcome to our brand new series, working title T&H Talks, Talks with T&H, something like that. We're talking watches, the industry, going to play some games and have some fun with a guest probably every week. Today, we've got Barron Quadro as a guest. He's the face of the Effortless Gent, a style channel on Instagram and YouTube. Barron is a really cool dude. He's a T&H fan, a big watch geek, and we're really happy to have him on. Barron, what's up, buddy?
Christian, thanks for having me, man.
My pleasure. What's going on in your world? What are you doing?
Oh, man. Well, as you know, YouTube takes up a lot of time, and that's what I've been working on lately. Just kind of growing the channel, just working on the site, working on some style articles, things like that. You know how it goes.
I think most importantly, to start off the conversation, is the question, what's on your wrist?
What's on my wrist? Oh, I got my which you know very well. It's the steel and black dialed Datejust that I have that you recently helped me service.
Yeah, that was an engine turn Datejust quick set. That was a beautiful watch, man.
It's beautiful.
Guess it is still a beautiful watch.
I love it. What's on your wrist?
We'll get back. Yeah, right now I'm wearing my vintage Omega Seamaster, a watch that my parents gave me for my birthday when I was 21.
Oh.
We'll get more into it later, but we'll talk about watches and sentimentality and how important it is. And I'd love to hear your story of relationship to watches. How did you get involved, or how did you get your interest peaked?
Right. Yeah. It's funny. My earliest memory of just like paying attention to watches was my dad had this. It was a gold, which I thought was gold at the time. It was a Seiko, yellow metal, what looked like a day date with a president bracelet. But, I was in like 6th, 7th grade when I was like starting to pay attention to watches, and I didn't realize the differences between, let's say, a Seiko or a Rolex. I just recognized the style. And ever since then, I was like, man, I always wanted that yellow gold president day date. And so that kind of sparked my interest. And I got my first sort of like grown-up metal watch, which was just a basic Seiko, but it was everything to me. This was like when I was 12 or something, and ever since then, I've always had an affinity for the Seiko brand. I think probably because of those early memories, but I just remember those are like some of the little things that I paid attention to when I was just starting out, just gaining my interest in watches.
But you're very like aesthetically driven, right? It's about the style, the beauty of a design, right? And that's how I am, and I think that we share that.
Yeah, absolutely. And you're right, exactly. And I don't know what it was, man. When I saw my dad's watch, he wore that all the time, and it was probably not that expensive. It's a Seiko, right? So it was probably like
it was probably a very affordable watch, which is kind of so much of the beauty of Seiko, right? That's why so many people have such a close relationship to it, because it was affordable.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think aesthetically speaking, though, when I started researching a little bit more about it, and I noticed that it had very much the exact same style as the day date with the president bracelet, like. I think back then I just knew like that's gonna be my Grail watch one day,
Did I wear a day date when we met up in the city, whenever it was?
You did.
I was probably wearing. Yeah.
It was beautiful. I love that thing. I gotta get that from you one day.
That's funny.
I gotta have you find one for me.
that's my goal too. I'd love to find one for myself one day. Tell me more about you posted a video not too long ago. It was your everyday carry, right? It was things that items in your life that find their way into your everyday carry. Things that you're kind of carrying around always.
Right.
A watch is a non-negotiable for you? Yes or no?
Oh, absolutely. It's one of the first things I throw on right before I head out the door. So I have a little carry-all tray right next to my door. My watch is there, my keys.
Oh, nice. I like those.
My wallet. Yeah, so I have one of those guys, and I hate when I forget. Like if I walk out the door, I hate when I have to always like feel my pockets to make sure I have everything. And it's the worst to have to run back in and grab all my stuff. So I keep everything by the door. Watches are definitely a non-negotiable. Right now I have probably two main ones in my rotation, which is this steel Datejust of mine. And I also have this really old Seiko from when I was like 15. So it's probably like 15 or 20 years old by now.
Get out.
Yeah, it's really old. It's a titanium perpetual calendar. The perpetual calendar feature is pretty cool. I like how it cycles through the days. And it's really lightweight. So I think, if anything, it's more sentimental to me. I've had it for so long, so I think that's why I continue to wear it. And those two watches are probably my two main ones.
So those are two watches that are not to call you old, but they are older watches, right? They're borderline, they're vintage, right? In probably most people's eyes. What about modern watches? Any love there? I mean, anything?
Yeah, I mean, Of course, yeah, of course. I like the new stuff. I don't know, for some reason though.
Do any brands speak to you particularly? I mean, are you know, I know you have the admiration for the Rolex Date. Are there any other brands? I mean, I know that on the internet, especially in the style category on YouTube, it's very heavy into fashion watches, right? It's very heavy into brand new watches. Brands like Michael Kors or Daniel Wellington or MVMT and things like that, Vincero. And I know that there's a lot of press out there, and a lot of people, there's a lot of, I think there are two extremes, right? A lot of people are way too, in my opinion, way too in love with them. It's kind of unfounded. And on the other end, people get so angry and they hate them, which is ridiculous too. Why would you hate a watch? You know what I mean?
Right.
Like there are real things in the world to be hating. You know what I mean? Like you can not like a watch.
Right.
So where do you fall as someone who's in really predominantly more the style community, but of course watches are such at the bedrock of style. Where do you fall?
Yeah, I totally hear both sides of it. Me personally, I tend to gravitate towards stuff that is just more classic and tends to last longer, or basically won't go out of style, right? So let me backtrack and say that, I do have, I went to a wedding one time and I was a groomsman, and the groom gave all his groomsmen movement watches for as a groomsman gift, which I totally appreciated. Yep. It was a cool modern watch.
Of course,
I love it.
Of course.
And so I don't really see anything inherently wrong with these sort of like modern fashion watch brands. I think to some extent, and actually I was talking with my friend Brock over at The Modest Man. You know Brock, right?
Yeah, Brock's a great guy.
Yeah, we were talking about fashion watches one time, and we both realized like they almost not really started, but they definitely gave our interest in watches like another kick in the pants, right? Like, oh,
absolutely.
Let's take a look at this and see what this is all about. And so I think that kind of sparked it. And then from there, as you learn to understand like maybe the heritage of certain brands, or you just aesthetically gravitate towards one brand or one style or another, then you can sort of move to the higher end stuff that obviously not the younger guys or the guys who can afford a lot maybe can't go towards these high end brands, but regardless of all that, I think it's a good way that if you are just starting out to just to understand the community in general and what watches are all about.
Even if you're open to eventually, that could be in 6 weeks or 6 months, even if you're open to eventually making a big watch purchase, you may not be ready right now.
Yeah.
As a beginner, someone who hasn't really started again, and you got to give credit where credit is due, man. You can't deny that growing up, at least for me, I can't deny that growing up, watches were not something that the young people wore. I always wore a watch. I was given a Swatch for the 2004, I think, Greek Olympics. So I've basically been wearing a watch since I was 9.
Okay.
Right? And that was like a farty thing. That was certainly not a cool thing to be doing.
Right.
Middle school and high school. But then, by the time that I was late in high school and into college, it was cool for young guys to wear watches.
Right.
And although, no, I don't like particularly the watches that became popular, as a watch geek, as a fanatic, it's very positive to see more people, younger people, being indoctrinated, or if that's a weird word, whatever, really kind of like, joining, the watch fam. That's a really cool thing.
Right.
So, like, hate to go in defense of fashion watches, but it's kind of the truth.
Yeah, definitely. And, as long, whatever it takes for a person to get interested or involved in a specific aspect of something, whether it be watches or clothes or shoes, I think you have to start somewhere. And fashion watches, they do their job, like they get people interested in watches, and then from there, if the person wants to grow and learn more, they can. If not, it's fine.
Yeah. Exactly. Like I said, it's just funny how people, are I'm sure you see this on YouTube all the time. We can talk about this. We haven't talked about this yet, even in person. So on polar ends, right? They're either they're really in love or they hate passionately, which kind of brings me to the topic of like YouTube comments. I mean, you're a YouTuber, right?
Yeah.
And you make some awesome content. Truthfully, really, like it's not just like entertaining, because it is entertaining, but it's really informational. It's really informational. It's useful. It's really useful content. Our content at T&H is useful if we're talking about whether or not someone should buy a modern watch or reviewing and stuff. But really, your content is very actionable. That's probably the right word to say.
Cool.
So what do you think, or what's been your experience? With YouTube. I've talked to Brock about it, and as YouTubers, we have kind of commiserated together about the kind of backlash that is pretty common. Do you experience a lot of backlash? I mean, I don't think that anything you're doing is hateable, but do you get hate?
Not so much yet, but comments do pop up here and there. Yeah, as far as like how I deal with it, I mean, I don't know. I try to think of like the fact that when people are so passionate about something, let's say they believe in one thing or the other, or they like really love, let's say, trilbies, and they hate fedoras or whatever. Like there's like a distinction there. They get really passionate about it and they start like yelling at you in the comments and shit. And I just think it's kind of funny.
It's funny too. Like, you piece of shit. How could you like a fedora? Like, are you? It's like your mother is a skank.
Yeah.
Like it's some of this shit. It's really hysterical.
People get so angry, but I found out the best way to really disarm people, instead of like trying to go toe to toe with them, you basically say, you could kill them with kindness, essentially, right? You go, you know what? Yeah, I can see your opinion there, and like it kind of disarms them. It disarms them, and they're like, oh, well, he's kind of a nice guy. Like one of those things where it's like. And there's no point in arguing with people on the internet. I mean, has that ever led anywhere to any sort of civilized conversation?
Although we're both passionate about very similar things, and like I said, those are our passions, and when they are attacked, it can feel a little, shitty. But really, ultimately, we're arguing over, what is, in the grand scheme, stupid.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
absolutely.
Fedoras are stupid in the grand scheme of the world. You know what I mean? I like them. You know what I mean? But like, ultimately, we're arguing over, a hat.
Right.
It's kind of silly.
Right.
But I think it's kind of funny, and I know that there are a lot of young YouTubers out there that are, watching you, and they're watching T&H, and they're watching, Brock and John Shanahan and everything.
Yep.
And I could always, I've said this before. It's hard to imagine, what some of these young YouTubers or content creators go through, because there is such, although, and it's both, right? Because there's so much love in the world, and there's so much encouragement on YouTube, and for example, last night T&H Instagram hit 50,000 followers, right? And that's not a tremendous number,
Congrats.
but it was a big achievement for us and the team, and it meant a lot, and the outpour of love was incredible. I mean, it was like, I could, it really made our night. It wasn't just us; it was all these fans, reaching out and congratulating, and there was real love.
That's awesome.
But on the opposite end, you can post on YouTube that, hey, I don't like the new Omega Planet Ocean, and it's like you're a Nazi, it's like the things that people, it's pretty funny. It's pretty funny.
Right.
But what are your aspirations for YouTube in the next 6 months, or your business in the next 6 months?
I just honestly, I had two goals this year. I just wanted to put out one video a week, and I wanted to work on, I was telling you this earlier, I'm basically working on SEO for my site, just making sure that everything is good and running good on the back end, which isn't exciting stuff. But, I had like really simple goals this year, and I just wanted to see the channel grow. I think it'll be great for just building an audience in a different place to where I have no presence, and now I'm starting to have one. So it's exciting. It's exciting to do, and that's pretty much all I'm focusing on this year. One video a week, just plugging away.
That's awesome, man. You must love the content creation, on a daily basis, right? I mean, you've got to love that.
Yeah, it's great. I mean, it is a process. It's a lot of work, but it's like when you look back and see all the shit that you've done, it's like it's pretty amazing to see.
Yeah. Do you have you ever looked back on a video and I mean, I've done it 1,000 times and really just disliked it and considered deleting it?
Oh yeah. I mean, even if it's, just even seeing how I was putting together videos in the first place, like when I first started, I feel like I've improved so much since then. And I mean, I think that's just you being a creative person. You always look back on your older stuff and you're like, ugh. But I just figure you're always improving, and whatever. I'll just leave it up there. It's fine.
Yeah, no, I agree. And it's funny, some of the bad videos on YouTube that I know we've released so many bad videos because we produced so much in the beginning. We were going like 5 videos a week. It was crazy.
Yeah.
But you know what? People still comment on them, and many people still like them. And I'm like, okay, fine. We won't delete them. It's kind of funny.
Yeah.
But all right, before we break here, let's do a little rapid fire question round.
All right.
What do you think?
Let's do it.
All right. So okay, number 1, drink of choice.
Ooh, first thing that popped in my head was your classic old-fashioned.
Good. What is an old-fashioned? People order that all the time. What is an old-fashioned?
Oh, what do you drink?
I drink scotch and soda, but what it's very easy. You can't figure it out. But what is an old-fashioned?
Old-fashioned's basically, you have your whiskey, you have your ice, you have some bitters, and you have a little bit of sugar. Mix that up, drink it, delicious.
Oh, wow. I'm going to try it.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Go-to song to sing in the shower.
Oh, shit.
Come on, we both know you sing in the shower. Don't bullshit me.
Damn, that's a tough question.
Come on.
I don't know. That's so hard. Oh man, you got me there.
You don't sing in the shower?
No.
What do you do in the shower? What do you clean yourself in the shower? God, no, I just get in, I sing a song, and I leave.
I scrub the shit out of myself in the shower.
Okay, advice to 20-year-old you.
Oh, that's a good one. Man, keep going, dude. Like, you're gonna get discouraged. You're gonna get discouraged. You're gonna have like shit that comes your way. But it always gets better. Keep being creative and keep doing stuff for you, and always think about the people that you're serving. You know.
Awesome. Fashion pet peeve.
Wearing stuff that's like too tight. You know what I mean? Like,
true, man.
If you come on, like, okay, like, even if you're a slightly bigger dude, you don't have to wear slim fit jeans just because everyone else is wearing slim fit jeans, right?
Agreed.
Like,
agreed.
You should wear stuff that fits your body well, regardless of if you're skinny or fat or tall or whatever. You have to figure out the clothes that fit you best. So that's probably my number one pet peeve.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Absolutely. One thing you wish more people, take the opportunity right now, knew about you.
One thing that I wish people knew about me that they don't necessarily know about me already. Is that what you mean?
Yeah. Maybe, for example, like the perception online that is, maybe, I don't know, faulty. Like, for example, I'll go first, right? Mm-hmm. On YouTube, I guess because we sell expensive watches, and because I also do like nice clothing, people always think I hate poor people. It's amazing. Like, it's unbelievable. People think that I'm super rich and unrelatable. Neither of those two things are true, right? Like, I come from like a super like blue collar family, like right. A super like working class family, and have maybe I have an air of pretentiousness about me, but actually in no way is what I embody on a regular basis. That I wish people knew that about me.
Right.
Come on, what you got? That's
good. Actually, I don't mean to like sort of bite off your idea here, but the one thing that
then don't no.
when I meet new people and they ask me what I do, I tell them I run a men's style website and YouTube channel. The first thing they say is, they either say, "Oh, how do I look?" or they're like, "Oh, this is embarrassing. Like you probably think I look terrible." I'm like, I think it's interesting that when people they automatically assume that I'm easily judging them like based on what they're wearing,
right,
or
right.
like they think I care. I don't really care. Like I created the site because I want to help people who want to be helped, right? Or I want to help people who are looking for that sort of style advice. I'm not just going around like passing judgment on every person that's wearing clothing. Like, that's just not me at all. So I kind of hope that's not the perception of me, but maybe it is because of what I do. But hopefully people understand that both about me and you. Like, we're not all of what you think we are, right?
Yeah. No, for real. That's a really good one. Last one. One last meal. What is it?
One last meal. Steak frites.
Oh, that's a good one. In the city, where do you go?
Man. Off the top of my head,
you ever go to Relais de Venise L'Entrecôte on 53rd Street and Madison or Lex?
Oh, what is it called?
L'Entrecôte, Relais de Venise. It's like on the corner there, like on 53rd Street in Lexington.
I don't think I've been.
It's a good place. You know what we should do? Let's meet up. We'll go there.
I'm into that. Have you been?
It'd be fun. Little steak frites.
Have you been to Keen's?
My dad loves Keen's. I haven't.
I think I like it because it just feels really old school. It's like an old school steak joint, right? They have like pipes from like the original members who used to, I think, it used to be like a members only club there, and they have the old pipes from like the 1800s, like hanging on the wall.
That's cool.
Old portraits. It's pretty awesome. It's a great place.
That's awesome. Barron, you're a gentleman and a pleasure. Geeks, go ahead and follow Barron on Instagram and YouTube at The Effortless Gent. Barron, go ahead and sign off.
Thanks for having me, guys.
All right. Take care, guys.
See you later, guys.